So, I'm back after uh, over a week. I apologise for that, I've been on a holiday. I have been working on other projects though, so don't worry. So, a lot more news has come out about the Batman film recently, and this is sort of going to be an updated version of everything we know about the Batman film coming out. So, this is sort of an updated version. This time it's going to be a lot more detailed because we have a lot more news on it. So, we're going to be breaking down cast, setting, release date, when it's going to be filming. Basically, we're going to be covering a lot. Okay, so first bit, we'll get this out of the way. Robert Pattinson is, of course, going to be playing Batman. Now, a lot of people at first did actually ask the question, is this the right choice? I mean, casting Robert Pattinson? Look, I had the same reaction as a lot of people did when Pattinson was cast. Hell, it was probably the same reaction when Affleck got cast as Batman. And I'm sure it probably was the same with Bale, and Keaton, and Val Kilmer, and George Clooney. Look, it's sort of like what we get with Doctor Who. For example, firstly, let's go back to 2010. David Tennant announces he's leaving Doctor Who. All the fans are like, "Oh no, David, don't leave." Then the first episode of the new Doctor arrives. In this case, it would be Matt Smith. Everyone's like, "Oh no, he's going to be terrible." After the second episode, he's not bad. After the whole series, great, he's going to be a really good Doctor. Then Matt Smith announces he's leaving. No, don't leave. He was the best. See, it's a cycle of repeat. It's rinse and repeat. It's what we get with all the Batman actors. We get it with Doctor Who as well. So yeah, Pattinson is playing Batman, and apparently he's been undergoing combat training with the guy from John Wick, which sounds very promising because John Wick has some very incredible action. And boy, I hope this film knows how to do it right. But apparently, this film's going to be more focused on the detective side of Batman, not the more gritty combat side. Okay, director. We obviously know that Matt Reeves is directing this, and we've known it for some time, and we kind of knew it before Affleck actually officially stepped down as Batman, because Justice League kind of left Batman's future uncertain. Anyway, Batman is one of my favourite characters, of course, and Matt Reeves is an incredible director. If you don't know who Matt Reeves is, he directed Cloverfield and two out of the Planet of the Apes trilogy. I'm assuming most of you watching this video already know who he is. I'm just explaining it for those who don't know who he is, which is probably a very small amount of people watching this. Anyway, Reeves, I think, is a very talented director. Planet of the Apes is one of my favourite film trilogies, and Reeves has said that he has the same relationship with Batman as he did with, like, the old Planet of the Apes films way back when. So hopefully Reeves will do this film right. He's also writing the screenplay for the film, which I think is really promising. Okay, this may not seem important to anyone, but the score, I think, is really what helps a movie become more effective. And I couldn't be more happier to tell you guys, and I believe this has actually been confirmed, that Michael Giacchino is actually composing the score for the Batman film. If you don't know who Michael Giacchino is, he is responsible for the scores for Spider-Man: Homecoming and Far From Home, and also the score for Doctor Strange. I'm unsure if he's done any other MCU films, but anyway, Giacchino I think is a really good choice. Perhaps he could repurpose some old Batman themes. For all we know, he could repurpose Danny Elfman's Batman theme like they did for Justice League. Well, like Junkie XL did for Justice League. Anyway, Giacchino composing the Batman film is, well, it's great. Okay, so according to multiple sources, this Batman film is apparently going to be a reimagined version of the Caped Crusader, who will be in his 30s at the time, and the film itself is going to be set in the 90s, which is a pretty good year for Batman. I believe during that time Nightfall was one of the stories. However, we'll get to which comic this is based on in a minute. So 90s, yeah, sounds interesting. I mean, I didn't grow up in the 90s, so can't really comment on that. But saying a Batman film in the 90s seems pretty interesting, to say the least. And that was a pretty bad year for Batman in our world, of course, because Batman Forever and Batman and Robin came out during the 90s. And boy, how crap they were. Okay, next is the story. Now, you can probably tell from what's on the screen that this is a panel from The Long Halloween. And you can probably see where I'm going with this. The next Batman film will be based on The Long Halloween, which makes sense because Two-Face is apparently going to be in this film, which means we might get to see the origins of Harvey Dent turning into Two-Face. And also, Catwoman, I believe, was actually pretty central in The Long Halloween in the comics because it's revealed she's actually Carmine Falcone's daughter. And I think we might see the Falcones in this because we might get to see the origins of Two-Face. And yeah, it sounds pretty cool. Also, apparently, there's a villain in this which is also central, the Calendar Man, who did show up in Arkham City, but only on like major holidays. And if you set it on some specific date, then Calendar Man references what will happen in Arkham Knight, even though the game didn't come out at that point. Anyway, Long Halloween is a very popular story, and I'm excited to see it come to the big screen. Okay, now we move on to villains. So, this is one of the newer bits of casting news we've recently gotten. Paul Dano is going to be playing the Riddler. Now, I don't know who Paul Dano is, I haven't really seen anything he's been in, but I think he definitely looks the part to play the Riddler. I mean, I myself would have preferred someone like David Tennant to play the Riddler, but there are rumours that he's going to be the next villain for Doctor Strange in the sequel to his solo film. So, Paul Dano, he sounds like a pretty good guy, and yeah, hopefully he does justice to the Riddler. Oh, Jim Carrey. He didn't do justice to the Riddler. Also, Zoe Kravitz will be playing Catwoman. You might know her as Lita Lestrange from Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. Catwoman, as I mentioned earlier, does play a big part in the Long Halloween storyline, since she is apparently Carmine Falcone's long-lost daughter. Which sounds interesting, and they could play that off as like a big twist in the film. Now, Crimes of Grindelwald is the only thing I've seen Zoe Kravitz in, so yeah. Also, Two-Face is confirmed to be in the film, I believe, but there hasn't been any word on who's going to be playing him. Some people have actually fan-casted Michael Fassbender as Two-Face, which could work. I mean, he's mainly known as Magneto from the Fox X-Men films. God, I never thought I'd be saying that again in my life. And some people have also said John Hamm could play Two-Face. So, yeah. Two-Face is also one of my personal favourite Batman villains. It's tied between him and, of course, Joker. And, yeah. Riddler, I think, is the most annoying Batman villain, really, because he just never gives up. But Two-Face, I think, is going to be a good villain in this film. And as I mentioned earlier, we might get to see his origins, because Long Halloween shows the origins and downfall of Harvey Dent, aka Two-Face. So we're going to look at other cast members here. I may sprinkle in some other villains here because, well, I've only just learned that they could be in the film. So, first things first, Matt Reeves did confirm that Jeffrey Wright is going to be playing Commissioner Gordon in the film, and that sounds really great. I mean, I haven't seen anything Jeffrey Wright's in. From my understanding, he's been in Westworld, and he's going to be the Watcher in Marvel's What If series. But other than that, I have no idea who he is. So Jeffrey Wright being in the Batman, I think, could be pretty good, and could provide something different that we've seen from other versions of Commissioner Gordon, like Gary Oldman. I think he's definitively the best Commissioner Gordon. I mean, J.K. Simmons, I don't think really fit the role. I mean, Bryan Cranston really would have suited that role more, really, if you ask me. So another bit of news, Vincent D'Onofrio, who you might know from things like Daredevil and his cameo in the Defenders thing on Netflix, has also teased his involvement in the film. Now, it hasn't been confirmed if he's going to be in the film, but if he was, I think it's a safe bet to say that he will be playing someone very central in the storyline. I think it's very likely that Vincent D'Onofrio will be playing Carmine Falcone, who, as I just said, was very central in the storyline. Basically, to the best of my understanding, The Long Halloween follows Batman, Harvey Dent, and Commissioner Gordon as they try to rid Gotham of the criminal underworld. And also, there's apparently a crime war between the crime families of Gotham, specifically the Maronis and the Falcones. And all this actually leads to the origins of Two-Face, which I think could have some implications on the story. Like, maybe the trial takes place halfway in the film, and then Batman has to stop Two-Face for the rest of the film. I don't think that's what will happen, but it's a possibility. As for Robin, it is apparently rumoured he's going to be in the film, because, from my understanding, I believe Robin was in the story in the comics, and if you know if Robin was in The Long Halloween, please let me know in the comments. But I think maybe seeing Robin in The Long Halloween would be pretty good, because Matt Reeves seems to be building a whole Bat world. In terms of which Robin we're going to see, I'm not sure if it'll be Dick Grayson or Jason Todd. Very unlikely that it's Tim Drake or Damian, or Stephanie Brown for that matter. Now, I'm not really sure what much else to say, but Robin, I think, could really work in the Batman film, provided that there's a good story and a good actor to play him. Now, I don't really necessarily know who could play the DCEU Robin. Well, mainly this version of Robin in the Batman film. I mean, if it's Jason Todd we're talking about, then Taron Egerton, hands down. But if we're talking about another one of the Robins, for example, Dick Grayson, maybe Scott Eastwood, perhaps. But that's not been confirmed. All I know is that Robin is apparently rumoured to be in the film. So that is most of what we know about the Matt Reeves Batman film. This is an updated version of a video I did a couple of weeks ago. Well, months ago. I can't remember when I uploaded it. Anyway, this definitely is not all the information. This video needs to be less than 15 minutes for me to fully upload it. So I'm going to put some additional bits of information in the description of this video, and you can check it out for yourself. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe.